You're listening to Talk Line with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And now your host.
We're back. Very happy to have with us once again Menachem MD Benchemon of 770 Eastern Parkway, BaseRabbeinu.com, celebrating 80 years of 770. He's been a frequent guest on our program. And Menachem, welcome back.
Good to work. It's great to be back.
You know, I was talking to you off the air. You had a wonderful idea because, unfortunately, because of COVID-19, people aren't going to be going to Israel for Lag BaOmer to go to Meron. But you had an idea which will help people who are staying home to celebrate Lag BaOmer without going to Meron. But share with our audience your idea.
Yeah, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, as you know, so many of us cannot fly down to Meron as customary. Many Jews from all different stripes, Sephardim, Ashkenazim, Hasidish, Litvish, Modern Orthodox, you name it. There's something that pulls everyone to Meron on Lag BaOmer. It's a great day of celebration. Unlike other days of passing of tzaddikim, which is usually more serious, this is a Yom HaYilula, a very festive Yom Simchas. It should be a very happy day, as Shimon Bar Yochai stated about his day of passing. So how do we get to Meron when we can't be in Meron? So you mentioned BaseRabbeinu.com. Rabbeinu means our teacher. The Rebbe taught us. It was actually 71 years ago, the same exact schedule like this year. It was a Thursday night. The Rebbe was not yet officially Rebbe. His Rebbe, his father-in-law, just passed away a few months before that on Yud Shvat in 1950. And it was a Thursday night, and Rebbe was bringing with students and Chassidim in 770 and spoke about the significance of Lag BaOmer and different lessons that could be learned. And he concluded at the end of the Farbrengen, he said that, we mentioned in the minor lesson, the prayers recited at the oil, that we prayed that that we asked that all our heart's desires should be fulfilled for the good. Which translates to mean that we ask Hashem that he should at the resting place of a tzaddik, that he should grant our requests and the merit of all the Tanoim and Amoraim and all the other tzaddikim that are buried here in this place, and especially in this close of Rabbi Yitzchak ben Shalom Deber, who that is the Rebbe's father. The Rebbe's Rebbe, which was his father-in-law, Rabbi Yitzchak Schneerson, the previous Rebbe, the sixth Rebbe of Chabad. So this implies, the Rebbe continued, that at the resting place of a tzaddik, any tzaddik, and especially of the one of such stature as the Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, all other Tanoim and Amoraim are there, and that includes, in regards to Lag BaOmer, that includes Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. So in other words, Reb Shimon, in essence, when one visits a resting place of a tzaddik, even here in America, they are in a sense also visiting Reb Shimon Bar Yochai in Meron at the same time on Lag BaOmer. So, you're asking how can we get to Meron? You could visit a gravesite of a tzaddik, and I'll say even furthermore, especially the Lubavitcher Rebbe's oil. There's an interesting letter which the Rebbe wrote to Rebbe Eliakim Getzelberger, a prominent leader of the Satmar community in London, in 1951. He wrote him how he received his letter and that he read it on Lag BaOmer at the resting place of his father-in-law, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak. And I just want to quote, he says that reading a pan, a kritel, a letter, on Rashbi's day of celebration, reading a pan at the oil on Rashbi's day of celebration has the ability to break all barriers and to bestow upon each individual everything they need in bana, in children, chaya, health, and livelihood, revicha, all in abundance. So the Rebbe wrote to a Satmar Chassid, Rabbi Eliakim Getzelberger, that specifically at the oil of Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, there's tremendous powers on the day of Lag BaOmer. In fact, not only is it able to bestow in the Hayom Yom, which is the first book published by the Rebbe himself, he writes about the Mittler Rebbe, which was the successor of the first Rebbe of Chabad, of the Alta, but he writes how not only was a Lag BaOmer, a special day for an auspicious day for potential blessings, but rather many wonders indeed transpired on the day of Lag BaOmer, and specifically most of the blessings were for children, just for people who did not have who did not have children, childless couples, and he concludes in the Hayom Yom that Agans Yoram at Gevarta Lag BaOmer, that people waited all year long for Lag BaOmer. So, based on the Rebbe's teachings, and in fact, the Rebbe himself acted on that every year, not fail, in over 40 years of the Rebbe's leadership. Every single Lag BaOmer, and Lag BaOmer was a very busy schedule, as you know. There used to be parades on Sundays outside of.
It was a big event in Crown Heights. I remember,
and until today, every Sunday there's a very big parade in Israel. They make one every year, Lag BaOmer, but the Rebbe every year, 7 cents, the Rebbe would fast and he would wait for the parade, and when the parade was over, he would visit the Ohel. And we follow in his footsteps, and every year, based on the Rebbe's teachings, it's the Rebbe taught us that, and it's available for us. So I highly suggest, what other better place would I want to be Lag BaOmer, in the place where all the Tanoim, all the Amoraim, especially Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, and the Baal Shem Tov, and the Mezritcher Maggid, the Alter Rebbe, the Mitzvah Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek Rebbe, Marash, and his successors, the Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Lubavitch Rebbe, and the Rebbe himself are all present at the Oyel, and it's a very, very special time for blessings, for everything that one needs in Bana, Chaya, Mezayna, all in abundance, and especially for those who need children like BaOmer, as it is known, has special powers that one can pray, and it's surely Tzaddik Gezer and HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim. And I just want to conclude with what the Rebbe wrote to Rebbe Yaakov Berger, that that I hope you'll be able to share good news with me regarding the matters mentioned in your kvittel, in your pan. So may all our tefillos be answered, and each and every one of us should seize the opportunity to visit themselves and to bring along a friend in the spirit of the students of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva taught us, everyone should visit the Lubavitch Rebbe's Oyel beginning Thursday night and Friday. It's open 24 hours at 22620 Francis Lewis Boulevard in Queens. That's 22620 Francis Lewis Boulevard in Queens. And if you're unable to visit in person, you may also send a letter or a fax. You can get that information at therebbesoil.com. For no fee, they will deliver. You could write all your heart's requests, and it will be placed at the Rebbe's Oil on Lag BaOmer. Again, that's at therebbesoil.com. And Zev, may all our tefillos be answered, and
Amen.
we hear good news, and we should merit the Geula Shlema speedily in our days. After all, this year, as we've spoken many times, is Tavshin Pei Aleph, which stands for the year Shnas Ploi Sarenu. It should be a year of wonders unmasked, wonders like we've never seen before.
We can use it.
Wonder the coming of Mashiach.
Amen. Menachem MD Benchemon of 770 Eastern Parkway, baserabbeinu.com, celebrating 80 years of 770. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to a more extended conversation. Good luck.
Amen. Thank you.